Hello there, friends. I'd like to take a quick moment to welcome back to the public square Stefan Molyneux. For those of you who do not remember, Stefan Molyneux was a very, very influential poster, philosopher, YouTuber for a very long time, but he kind of dropped off of the face of the earth for most people back in 2020 when his YouTube account was taken down and his Twitter account was banned. Now, he had been posting otherwise for all of the time between then and now on platforms like Odyssey and I think he was on BitChute as well, and he had his own website, freedomain.com, where he was carrying on the same work that he'd been conducting before, but because of the fact that most people typically don't look on other platforms other than the most convenient, largest platforms like YouTube and Twitter, most people just lost track of him. They didn't keep up to date with him, and he fell off the face of the earth. Well, good news, he's back, and I must point out as well, it's very appropriate that, as you can see, we're on the Eggs account while we're looking at Stefan Molyneux's page. So here's the last post prior to now when that he put up on his account all the way back July 8th, 2020, almost 5 years ago. This was just after the pandemic had begun, when lockdowns were starting and still ongoing in most places, and it was a post talking about endorsement of free speech and Dinesh D'Souza mentioning other people calling Donald Trump a threat to democracy. Very of the time, and yet still somehow very relevant, even to this day. Well, out of the blue, out of nowhere, he comes out with this post just a few days ago talking about his new book that's free and available on this website called peacefulparenting.com. He says, "I'd love to hear how you're all doing. Best wishes." So he originally got his account back, I believe, in 2023 or 24 after Elon Musk bought Twitter. And he just hadn't posted until now. And he'd come out of his isolation a few times, most notably when he was interviewed by Connor last year on Connor's show. That interview is still available on the website, and this was regarding things like peaceful parenting and regarding things like the work that he'd been doing into the effects of daycare on young children and why it can be very negative for them. So he's still been doing lots of good stuff. He's mainly staying away from politics these days. A lot of the work that you'll see that he's been doing on Freedomain has been talking about positive affirmations for people, giving people advice on their dating life. He takes phone calls from people, and he talks a lot about this sort of stuff, peaceful parenting. So this is mainly the subjects that he's been talking about, and he strayed away from the more controversial subjects that got him in so much trouble back in the day and got him labeled a white supremacist, white nationalist, whatever you wanted to call him. And I thought when this came up, I thought, oh, fantastic, the book's out, because I've been thinking it was very interesting, being a parent myself, and I'd like to take a read of it. It's great that it's free, but I was expecting this was it. He comes back one time to make one little post, and then he's just going to step back away into his own little corner of the internet that he's been cultivating for himself for a long time. But no, it seems that he is here to stay, and since then he's been posting quite a bit, actually. He started to do streams on Wednesdays on Twitter. He's posted these little clips from his free domain streams, and it's all really positive stuff, actually, and it's quite nice to see somebody who's kind of staying away from the muck and the dirt of political posturing and political commentary, and he's just trying to give advice to people that he thinks will make their lives better. Like this one where he's talking about speaking the truth may not always be easy, but it's always worth it. The freedom that comes with honesty is unmatched. Of course, Stefan is still very much a libertarian. He's still of that philosophy. But what he's talking about here is a kind of internal self-imposed freedom, the freedom that you can bring to yourself simply through a freedom of mind, which I think is a really positive thing for people to hear. He's spoken in this one. This was quite an interesting one. This is a longer clip, 5 minutes long or so, where he's been talking about why deplatforming works and why everybody thought that he dropped off the face of the earth, despite the fact that he has a continuous and unbroken line of work, if you go on freedomain.com, that has been continuing since he was deplatformed. And it's because mainly people just don't go on these websites unless it's YouTube, unless it's Twitter. people, for some reason, think that it is too much effort to go, as he says in his analogy here, one site over to his own website, freedomain.com, or even any of the other platforms like Odyssey, which are freely available to most people. They don't go over to them. So all you need to do is take people off of the big platforms that everybody sees, and all of a sudden Stefan Molyneux just disappears. Where is he? Where's he gone? Could I check his website? No. No, I could never check his website. If he's not on YouTube, he doesn't exist anymore. And that is a sad truth, which is that they shouldn't have the power that they do when they deplatform people, because there's always one site over for you to go to and still broadcast on. But people don't go to those websites. So it's through that inaction of people, and he's not saying this in a judgmental way, he's just being very matter of fact. It's through people's laziness and inactivity and lack of motivation to just check other sources that means that they have this power to deplatform people. And that is exactly what has happened to Stefan, and why I think it's a good thing that he's decided to come back. And as part of this, he's asking people to support him in requesting for Team YouTube to return his YouTube account, because it's a philosophical channel. It had 15 years worth of content on it. There's presumably a lot of extra stuff from Free Domain that he could put on there if the channel gets restored. So yeah, God bless. I hope the channel gets restored. Please, Team YouTube, restore Stefan Molyneux's channel. Whether or not all of the content is available elsewhere, it is still the platform that most people will go to. It's the most easily accessible for most people, and where it will get the most eyes on it. Stefan didn't do anything wrong, so please restore that channel. He deserves it, and he deserves our support. So you watching this right now, support him in this request to get his channel reinstated. You put in a message to Team YouTube as well. Everybody should support him. Stefan was one of the major pioneers of everything that we talk about today. Lotus eaters wouldn't be talking about what we talk about today were it not for pioneers like Stefan Molyneux being one of the first people to really start speaking about these subjects on larger mainstream platforms. So he deserves every bit of support that he gets. But my new favorite thing as well, beyond all of this stuff, all of a sudden in the past 24 hours, he started lift posting. Very based right here. For men, you don't really know who you are or what you believe if you don't lift. If you're physically weak, all you do is conform and call it virtue. Lifting isn't just life, it's integrity and thought itself. And in the manner of, in the aim of getting people to have self-mastery, self-control, freeing yourself through your actions, this is absolutely right. If you are in control of your body, it will give you better control of your mind and allow you to be more of a free thinker, allow you to have control over yourself and your thoughts and your emotions. And I think it's really great. This is the sort of stuff that I agree with entirely. So it's wonderful for such a large voice, a large platform like Stefan Molyneux. You can see he's back and he's already getting huge engagement with his posts. It's great to hear him say this as well. He says, in most cultures, slaves were forbidden to lift weights or exercise. Tyranny depends on your physical weakness. Honor your freedom, the suffering of your ancestors. Lift, based. If you don't lift, you're a slave. You're allowing yourself to become a slave. You're indulging in vice and weakness. Put yourself in a position of discomfort. Learn to live with the pain. Based. Lifting increases testosterone. You're so right, Stefan. People who don't lift are low testosterone pussies. I agree. Which means that you will attract a more feminine woman, which means life without being controlled and nagged. Beautiful. You want a woman, don't you? If you're too low testosterone to get a woman, maybe lift something for once, and that might change. And the most recent one as well, in nations, everyone recognizes the value of peace through strength. Strength prevents attack. It's the same in your life. Lift. This is absolutely true. I can speak from personal experience. I've been able to get out of many dicey situations without it coming to blows, simply because I'm tall and I'm big. It's such a great help. He's absolutely right here. So I hope to see more based lift posting from Stefan, who of course is in good shape himself. He's not just talking the talk, he walks the walk as well. And I hope to see more positivity coming from him. If he decides never to speak about politics in the way that he did ever again, That's absolutely fine as long as he can get his YouTube channel back so that people can find his old content easily. That's great. If he doesn't, well, there is still platforms like Odyssey. There's still Odyssey. There's still his website, freedomain.com. So you should go onto those platforms. Go one site over. Take the extra effort to type in a different website than YouTube, and it will be worth it. But if he never speaks about any of those subjects again, his work is still there. It's still well worth going through. There's still a lot that you can learn from it. And if he just posts about this kind of things and he posts positive affirmations, advice to people on how to better themselves and improve their lot in life, that's absolutely wonderful. So I'm very grateful to see Stefan back, and I hope he can be a positive influence for all of us.